Hello, happy holidays. Welcome to Jamie the Kid 00's channel. Unfortunately, I am not Jamie the Kid 00, as you guys might be aware. My name is Henry, aka Draco Backpack Sack 22. I am also the admin of the Prank Kid Dodo Doodle Duelist Facebook group. If you guys are on Facebook, please feel free to check out that group. I think it's full of really good content on the Prank Kid strategy, as I will be trying to give to you today a Prank Kid deck profile that is pretty standard, but I'll be able to give further insight on the card ratios and the plays and the combos and all the nitty gritty on the archetype. If you guys have any suggestions on cards to play in the Prank Kid strategy, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below. But other than that, let's just get into deck profile. Alright, well, without further ado, let's get into the deck profile, shall we? So, for the main deck, we run 3 copies of Prank Kid Fancies, 3 copies of Prank Kid Dropsies, 3 copies of the Lampsies, and 3 copies of the brand new Prank Kid Roxies. So, what all of these cards do is they special summon another Prank Kid monster from the deck when used as fusion or link material for a Prank Kid's monster. However, they all have primary effects before they special summon from the deck. So Fancies actually foolishes any Prank Kid card in your deck. Dropsies gains you 1,000 life points. Lampsies inflicts 500 burn to your opponent. And Roxies banishes a card to draw a card from your deck. And then after those effects goes off, you special summon from the deck a different one, and they are very annoying for your opponent to deal with, especially when they have multiple going off at once, which you often do, and just blocking them in chain links is really fun. And of course, you go through them very quickly as you're using pretty much all of them on your turn and all of them again on your opponent's turn. So there's 8 names in your graveyard right away. Some of them you're going to bring back with your Doodle Doodle Doo to your hand. Some of them you're going to reborn back with your Rocket and your Weather Washer. So overall, you're going to be moving these cards a lot throughout the duel, and they're just going to be spent really quickly, which is how valuable the resource replenishment cards are, such as Pranks and Plan. So that is it for the Prank Kid monsters, and those are the most important ones. Then we move into the hand traps. We just play 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Unfortunately for this deck, the deck really has to have 5 card hands of variety. They need 2 Prank Kid cards, such as, well, 2 Prank Kid monsters, then they need a poly, and then preferably something like a Call by the Grave to protect the play. So room for hand traps aren't really that open to change. I mean, Ash Blossom is probably the best one. Maybe you could fit an Ogre in here or 2, but really not much more than that. So triple Ash Blossom will be it for the hand traps. For the spells, I only play 3 copies of Place for the field spell. I don't play any Terraformings to go get it. I don't think that opening multiples is that good. However, seeing 1 is ideal, as it adds any Prank Kid monster on activation, and it also is really good for chain blocking, as when you fusion summon a Prank Kid monster, all monsters on the field gain 500 attack, and when you link summon, all monsters your opponent controls loses 500 attack, and both of them are permanent. So making this chain link 3, 4, sometimes even 5 on a chain link is just so valuable, and the value you get out of this card is really good, which is one of the reasons why Ash is just not that effective against this deck, because this is always the last chain link in all of your combos. So this is definitely a very good card. Since I am playing Desires in this deck, I opted not to play the Terraforming, and I also didn't want to play Terraforming to lose really hard to draw. So I just played 3 of the field spell, which is gaining quite a lot of hype in price, as we see on the market. For the fusion spells, we play 3 Poly, the OG, 3 copies of the Pandemonium, and 2 copies of Invocation. So these 8 are pretty important to play. You really much need to see a fusion in your opening hand, otherwise you can't really combo off as hard. You can still play if you have a normal summon and an extender, but the extent of the play isn't as high of a ceiling as, of course, your fusion plays. Now, drawing the original Poly or the Invocation is a lot better than drawing the Pandemonium, just because of the fact it doesn't restrict you from going into Toad. However, even if you open up Pandemonium, it's not that bad, because then you can just get it back with Doodle Doodle Doo for a fusion play on your opponent's turn, so you get 2 for the price of 1, which is not bad. However, the negation for Toad is just so important right now, especially with Call by the Grave on the loose, and being able to protect yourself against that. So anyway, these are the main 8 that we play for the fusion spells. Then for the extenders, we play 3 copies of Instant Fusion, which is a god card really in this deck, just because of the fact that past turn 1, you can summon a rocket, and then the rocket can bring back 2 of your link monsters, such as Bow Wow and Doodle Doodle Doo, and then you can tag out Doodle Doodle Doo into 2 more Prank Kid cards, so it's like a +3 and advantage, and it's just such a really good card in this deck. But turn 1, you can just summon a Weather Washer, and you can just normal summon a Prank Kid monster and link summon from there, and it really helps you start your plays. And then with the 3 pranks, kind of similar deal there. You open another Prank Kid card. You can open up 2 of it, and you can just discard the other one if need be, and then normal summon any Prank Kid monster, preferably fancies, and you just go into your plays from there, and you can still be able to set up with a quick play Raigeki, which is really important for this deck strategy. So we play 6 extenders, and then to protect our plays, we play 2 copies of Called by the Grave. I couldn't fit the 3rd in here, but I don't think the 3rd is necessary. As I mentioned before, you really need a diverse hand, so you really just can afford to see 1. And then we play 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, as this tries to dodge hand traps, this tries to dodge floodgates, and cards like Widow Anchor, and popular cards in the meta such as Rivalry, which really hurt this deck. So you just need to have some form of removal in the deck without having to rely on your quick play Harpy Feathers Duster, because there are just some times where you can't get into that play right away. So we have 2 copies of Desires for draw power. Of course, you need to be able to see your cards to play them, and Desires just lets you do that. You can afford to banish more names and still play the game. So 2 Desires for that. And then we play 1 Prank Kid's Plan, which is not the best card in the deck to draw. However, it's very important to send off fancies on your opponent's turn to be able to survive attacks and also replenish your resources. As I mentioned earlier, you're going to be going through pretty much 8 names in the first 2 turns, so you need to be able to recycle them back so you can play in the grind game. So plan very important. And then I play the 1 of Skill Drain, just so important against the combo decks such as the Rongo Bongo strategy. They really have no main deck outs to getting over this, and it's just an alternate win condition. So that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, I play 2 copies of the Doodle Doodle Doo, 2 copies of Bow Wow to match, and 1 copy of the Rip Roaring Roaster. So I think that these cards are pretty much self-explanatory as far as ratios go. A lot of people are playing 3 of this. I really don't think that's necessary with all the recycling that you have in the deck. And I think that after you make the second one, you should be able to win from there. And if you're not, then you're at least able to search a place to recycle the first one. So I really don't think the 3rd is necessary. I think you need at least 2 Bow Wow to be able to go into various plays, especially when you're going to be using 1 to go into a Borreload or a Burl Sword. You need to have the second one just in case. And the Rip Roaring Roaster, just so good to be able to Harpy Feather Duster your opponent on their turn. So those are it for the Prank Kid links. And then for the link 3s that we go into are Unicorn and Triple Burst Dragon. I didn't fancy myself playing a generic Link 2 just because it's never worth it to go into a Phoenix or a Cerberus rather than going into a Doodle Doodle Doo or a Bow Wow. You just want to get your Prank Kid effects off as much as possible and keep on climbing, and then when you get to the right amount of advantage, you can be able to invest into one of these 2 cards. I think that this card is worth playing just because it gets over Ray and some floaters such as the BA strategy, and I think that it's really valuable. If it stays for a turn, you're able to bring back one of your links, so it at least has some recursion within the card, so I think that's pretty good. And then, as we saw at YCS Milan, the Boral package, just so important. Being able to attack over your opponent's Thunder Dragons, just so key in the meta right now. So that was it for the links. For the fusions, we play 2 copies of Rocket, 2 copies of Weather Washer, and 1 copy of Battle Butler. Rocket Ride being really good in time, being able to attack directly, Washer being in Armades. They obviously have their amazing effects of being able to tag out, this one being able to quick play Raigeki. I think that all of these cards are pretty standard. I would pretty much instant fusion this one on turn 1, but after turn 1 I would instant fusion this one because there's no reason to waste the first one of this. But most of all, you're going to need this late in the grind game, and you're going to need this early on. So I think that it's important to play 2 of this for the Armades effect, which might come up later in the duel. And of course, this one is recyclable with place and pranks and stuff like that. And then the final card I play is a totally awesome. I think that dodging Called by the Grave is really good. Of course, this card can be called by the grave, but I'd rather this be called by the grave than having my Washer or my Bow Wow being called by the grave. So I think this card is very important as of right now. For the side deck, very briefly, I play a lot of back row hate. I play 3 copies of Danko Seka, 2 Pankratops, and I also include the double Twin Twister in my side deck. I think that these are really good for the Altergeist matchup as well as Striker, and of course the occasional stun matchup. This card is really good, especially in tandem with the field spell. You're able to boost this to 22, and your opponent will never be able to get over this, especially against Strikers and Altergeist. It's really hard. And then this one is obviously really hard to deal with for Altergeist going second, so yeah, these cards are all really good. And then I play 2 sets of hand traps that are really good, drawing off of pranks, and are usable from the hand, so Ghost Ogre and Lancia. My main issue with Impermanence is the fact that you can't activate it from your hand if you control cards, so if you draw it off pranks, it really doesn't do anything, while these 2 let you survive for another turn. So the last card in my side deck would be Mind Crush. I think it's also very good. I think you need at least 1 card going first for prank kids to have some sort of alternate win condition in the deck. So, to go into a very basic play, we will proceed as follows. So first of all, we will activate Polymerization, fusing our Fancies and our Dropsies to the graveyard, and then fusion summon the very popular Prank Kid Rocket Ride, and then the Fancies and the Dropsies will go off as Chainlink 1 Fancies, Chainlink 2 Dropsies. As I'll move my graveyard over here, this will be over here. So these will be in the graveyard, and Dropsies will trigger. Now if you have the field spell, that could be Chainlink 3. So here you'll special summon your Lampsies and special summon your Roxies, as I will zoom out a little bit here. And you can set up like this, and then from there on out you can activate your Rocket Ride to bring back your Dropsies under the link zone, and that goes there. Then you use these 2 to link summon into the Prank Kid Dodo Doodle Doo. Then Roxies and Lampsies will go off. You'll banish a card from your hand to draw a card, and then you'll be able to special summon. And I will special summon a second copy of Dropsies here to secure our Toad play, and then our Lampsies will special summon a second copy of Roxies. So Roxies will overlay here. It's also worth noting that Fancies, when you special summon, you're always going to be sending your Prank Kid's Pandemonium to your graveyard, so that's always going to be there. The second copy of Prank Kid Pandemonium will be in my hand because of Doodle Doodle Doo. And then after that, you will overlay for Totally Awesome. And then here you will tag this out to get one of your Pandemoniums to your hand. The second Pandemonium to your hand, rather. And of course, Lampsy is the one that you don't have access to. And then you'll link summon these 2 into your Bow Wow Bark. And from there, you will be able to have 2 Prank Kid Pandemonium set with a Lampsies in hand. On your opponent's turn, you'll be able to tag this out for 2 cards you're missing. So you'll get a Fancies and a Roxies, and then when you negate with Toad, you'll get back a Dropsies, and then you'll use the first set Pandemonium. You'll flip this, and you'll fusion summon Roxies and Fancies into your Weather Washer, and then your Fancies will send your Plan to the graveyard, and you'll be able to special summon the other ones that you just used. So you can special summon back the Roxies, and the Roxies can special back a Fancies, so that you have all the names that you need. And then when your opponent proceeds, you can then activate Washer to bring back a Bow Wow, as well as your Dodo Doodle Doo from your graveyard, and then those could be just chilling there. Then you flip up the second Pandemonium using your Dropsies, your Lampsies, and your Fancies to go into your Quick Play Raigeki, which you could put over here, doesn't really matter, and then Dropsies, and Lampsies will go off to special summon 2 more. They can special summon each other, rather this way. Yeah. So anyway, you get the gist of it, and then of course on resolution you can quick play Regeki your opponent. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much the standard prank kid combo. However, for more combos, you can head over to my channel, Draco Backpack Sack 22, for the combos when you open up an extender or something of that sorts. Otherwise, it has been a blast being able to upload on my favorite Yu-Gi YouTuber's channel, Jamie the Kid 00. Of course, tune in to his channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh content, as I hear the kid is back, so he should be able to make more Yu-Gi-Oh related content for you guys in the near future. So please stay subscribed to him, and of course try to subscribe to my channel and join the Prank Kid chat in the Prank Kid Doodle Duelist Facebook group. So thank you once again. This is Draco Backpack Sack 22 signing off. Peace, guys.